Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our YouTube channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. If you tap on the little like button, we appreciate that too. Why, I feel like I need to clear a couple of things up right now. If I cough during the video, don't be surprised. I'm way better. Everything is good. We're trying to get caught up with things. Basically, we were working on Elsie, the little Panhead, and the situation being what it is right now, and by that I mean with shipping and receiving and things being out of stock and people not getting their deliveries, some of these parts that we have to order get a little hung up. So we may not have everything we need for that bike till, it could take till after New Year's, or I may have it in the next few days. I just don't know. So please bear with me. We'll be back on that little Panhead just as soon as possible. In the meantime, I said to her, well, you're going to rest. Go rest over there. I have other things to do. And so my knucklehead has been sitting around with a dead battery and a bald tire. I got her a tire, I got her a battery, and I'm going to get her up and running again because I think I got a show to go to next month with her, which means we'll have to take her out and stretch her legs a bit and all that sort of fun stuff. So I wanted to show something. Now this may seem like a very small thing to some people. To me, it was a very big thing at the time because I was restoring the bike to show. And of course, I showed it quite a bit and said, okay, that was fun. Now let's ride it like I intended, which is what I've done since. Anyway, I converted the bike from from 6 volt to 12 volt while I was redoing the bike because I knew I was going to be riding it. But I wanted everything to look period correct on it. And by that, I mean, I wanted it to look like it had a 6 volt battery in it. And with the seat on it, the seat sits on a couple of springs, you can see this stock battery top on it. And that looks proper. So I really wanted to use a stock 6 volt battery in it, but I wanted a 12 volt system. So I bought a 12 volt battery. I took a 6 volt battery and proceeded to destroy it. So come over here and I'll show you a destroyed battery box. This is, for all intents and purposes, a 6 volt battery. But if we look carefully at it, we can see that there's wires coming from inside the battery. Now that's the negative, the ground side. And over here is the positive side. And it's coming right out of the battery itself. So you might also notice there's a strap here. And what I've done is I've gutted this whole battery and mounted a 12 volt battery in it. And that way, in the bike, it looked proper. Looked like it belonged there. These little bolts here, one of my buddies gave those to me. Those are genuine Harley original battery bolts. They've gotten they're not quite as pretty as they were when I put them in about 15 years ago. But, so here I am due for a new battery, and batteries, shock and amazement, have improved. It's always a problem when you convert one of these old bikes to 12 volt, and all you can put in it is a little bitty battery. Excuse me. But, I just had this open, so that's why it's disconnected. The way I did it was I gutted this whole battery of all of its lead and garbage that was in there. I shouldn't say garbage, it's wonderful stuff because it makes the battery work. I might add, if anybody does this project, be sure you get rid of this stuff in a legal, legitimate manner because it's nasty, nasty stuff, and that's the kind of stuff we need to dispose of in the proper way. The way I did it is I had the battery supplier for the shop. I gave the stuff to him just like I would an old used battery. So it went to whatever recycle plant they use. And that was the proper way to get rid of it. Anyway, so I gutted the whole thing. Now I've gotten in there and modified it a little bit for the different battery, because this little battery worked real well. As I get older, I like more and more lighting at night, which means more wattage, which means more amperage, which means like to have a little better battery and not tax the generator as badly. So enter this battery. I've got one of these in my Panhead now, and it's serving me well, and I run a lot of lighting on that Panhead. So that's pretty neat. So here this battery is. I don't think I need to tell a whole bunch about it, except that I bought it at the local hardware store. And what it's for is powering power gates in your yard. And I think it was about $27, and it has a whole lot more juice than that battery I was running. So there we are. And that's without giving you a bunch of specs on wattage and amperage. That probably would be a good discussion for another time, because that's really kind of an interesting thing, and I need to put together some information on it. Anyway, so here we have the battery, and it's going in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of get busy here and do this thing, which shouldn't be too terribly hard. But let's see, I can also show that what I had in here is a circuit breaker. And let's see, this is a 15 amp circuit breaker, which is adequate. But by putting that circuit breaker in there, getting all that stuff done, then this battery becomes a unit again. So let me put a terminal on the end here so I can put the circuit breaker in line. Did you like that catch? Was that good? Yeah? Okay. There we go. I knew I was cutting it too short, but that's all right. Not going to bother me. Bother me. You know, if I take this battery bolt out of here, I get a little more length on that. Be a little easier to do. Yep. There we go. Now I'll take one of these and put it on there. My favorite crimper here. And there it is. Isn't that nice? Okay, that's good. Now we'll, got it. It's handled. Let me do this. Somebody unplugged me here. No, there it is. Okay. Okay. Now I have a couple little tricks I do here, and Mike just mentioned to me that I forgot the heat shrink. And what he didn't realize is that I didn't forget it at all. So I'll show that here in a minute. Okay. Now, once we get that one, then we take this little piece of heat shrink tubing. This is one of those plan ahead things. Normally you would put the shrink tube on first before you put the terminal end on. But if you get just the right size piece of heat shrink tubing, then you can go like this. It'll slide right over there. And there it is. So now I'm going to shrink it like that. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Now we'll need the other piece of that wire. Here it is. And we'll put one on the end of the other one. And that'll work good. So we'll just strip this one real quick here. And then we'll put on a terminal end. This is my favorite crimper of all time. This is a crimper I bought years ago. And it's just the best. And there it is. That's not going anywhere. Now that may look a little strange because I used some really big fat wire here. I didn't use the fat wire to carry more amperage or voltage or anything else. I use that fat wire because it's strong. And I do like things to be strong. Like I said, it's been in there for 15 years. I'd say it's been working pretty well. And there it is. Don't breathe the fumes, by the way. Okay. Now, we're going to need to make that about that long. And we'll do her up. I think last time I did this, I used a Zippo lighter, and everybody was concerned that I had a Zippo lighter. Okay. Anyway, let's see now. I think what we'll do is put this circuit breaker in place, which shouldn't be too rough. Is that the way that worked? Those didn't go on there. These did. There we go. Sound like the kids out in the street are killing each other. I hope not. I kind of like most of them. All right. So now we've got the circuit breaker in place, which is pretty exciting. So with that circuit breaker in place, then all we need to do is hook up the other 2 wires. I did modify the inside of this case a little bit. It's a little different for this battery than it was for the other one. And if anyone decides to do this for themselves, you'll really have to fit your own battery in there. I kind of go crazy in there with a Dremel and make spaces for things to go. But when it's all done, it'll look like, again, just a stock 6-volt battery in there and the proper battery cover right under the seat. Okay. Okay, now I can tighten that with a socket if I have to. And this here we can just put just like that and turn it right around and onto there. That's it. Then all I have to do is finish up the negative side, and we'll push this into here for a moment just to kind of visualize how this is going to go. This is going to go like this, and it will slide right in there and be all hooked up, and it goes in right flush with the bottom here. So we'll do it like that, put the strap back on it, and be able to lower it right back into the bike, hook it up, and it'll be done. And I'm kind of pleased with it. I think it was a good idea. I've seen people do it with just using the lid off of the battery where they just cut the top piece. Maybe that's the way you'll want to do it. I like doing it like this because it gives me room for wires and a circuit breaker, and I think it's just a real nice sanitary way of doing it, and it's better than shimming up the whole thing in the tank with blocks of wood and things like that like we've all done. So that's about it for now on that, but, well, we'll do something else on the Knucklehead next probably. So until then, see you out on the road.